All right. Welcome everyone. My name is DM Rhino, and today I'm going to show you how to create a character beyond. If you like this video, just hit the like and subscribe button, hit the bell, hit the notification, leave a comment, do all that stuff. And I just want to say thank you for comments you've been giving me on my thoughts. So if you don't know, D&D Beyond is a really great website where you can create characters. If you have a Gmail account, you can pretty much create your own character and sign up, and they give you a lot of free things when you sign up. So we can create characters in two ways. They're characters, or we can just create a character. And we're going to load it up over here. And we get the standard four blocks, right? We have standard, pre-made, quick build, and random. Quick build, of course, is going to quickly build your character. Random randomizes it. Pre-made, you play as a pre-made character. But we're going to look at the standard. So building. Right, and then we're going to name this guy. First of all, see all these things down here? Let's first name him. We're going to make fighter. Let's call him fighter 1. Let's pick the standard. Pick this guy over here. There we go. So he's okay. So we just named him. Then we're going to go down here. Well, first of all, we don't use homebrewed. That's for when you create your own kind of things in D&D Beyond. We're not going to click homebrewed. We're not going to click 2014 rules or expanded rules or legacy rules. We just want the core rules here, the new stuff, even the expanded rules. We just want to make sure that the core rules are checked out. We don't want partnered content either. That's for all the partnered stuff. You can buy partnered content, but it's easier if you, or for new beginners, just not going to have that. Enable dice rolling lets us see the dice that we can roll. Optional features. This is for your DM. If you want to have an optional feature, you can. Advancement type in D&D, there is XP and there is milestone. XP is like your standard video game, like when you RPG video game, you defeat something, you get XP points, you grow. Milestone, you reach a certain point in the game, you defeat a boss, you reach a town, you get something, and then you level. HP is either fixed or manual. Most games you will always have fixed. Manual, you've actually got to roll for your health, but for new players, fixed is always a fun thing. It's easier to understand if it's fixed. Prerequisites, feats. Again, you would speak to your DM if you allow feats and multi-classes. You want to keep those two checked for now because we're going to get a feat and multi-class. So if you choose to be a fighter, and let's say you want to be a fighter and maybe a wizard, you have to have a certain amount of intelligence before you can multi-class. But just keep those checked. Over here, also spells. We're not going to worry about spells because we're going to be our fighter. Incumbents is how much you can carry. We can use it, we can't use it, depends on your DM. I don't use incumbents. No, it's just it's too much micromanagement. Coin weight, that's again you can click it, not click it, depends on what you want to do. And then of course modifiers, we don't worry about that just yet. Easy enough. That's also something for your DM to talk to you about. What it comes down to over here is character privacy. Campaign only. People in the campaign can only view your character. Public, anyone can view your character, or private. But we're going to keep this public because I'm going to share the link afterwards and just have it in the description. So I'm going to click that on public. That's pretty much it for the home base here. We go to our class, Fighter 1. As you can see here are all the classes, and I will make videos on all of these. But for now, we're just going to click on Fighter. You see all the things that the fighter gets, explain it, and we're going to add the class. Simple. We're going to boost him up or level him up to 3 because most campaigns start with 3 and then you get to pick your subclass. So there we go. And you can see how the hit points have increased there, but now he's at 3. So what are the fighter traits? Well, we get to choose our proficiencies. Now it says our primary ability is strength or dexterity. You want to pick a skill that either has strength or dexterity in your skill set. So for our fighter 1, we got to pick athletics. That's athletics is a strength-based skill, and then acrobatics. Yeah, there we go. So two skills that helps strength and dexterity. Then the fighting style. Now this is different to the subclass because fighters have a style and a subclass. Now you kind of choose what you hone, and there are different styles we can go through. Archery, if we have a look, that's 2 attack rolls on ranged weapons. Very cool. Blind fighter, you get blind sight within 10 feet. Very cool. Blind sight, yeah. Defensive, while wearing medium, light, medium, or heavy armor, you get a +1 to your AC. It's actually what I recommend for new players. Just go for a defensive fighter. Dueling, while holding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 to attack rolls. So that's when you have a two-handed weapon for dueling. Great weapon fighter. This is when you roll damage with a melee attack while holding a weapon with 2 hands. You can treat any damage roll that is a 1 or a 2 on the die as a. So basically, um, you can do a lot more damage. And the weapon must have the two-handed or versatile property benefit. You need a two-handed weapon. You can't have a shield and a two. Interception. When a creature you see hits another creature within 5 feet of you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage dealt to the target by 1d. But you must be holding a shield or a simple or martial weapon. So you can't have an interception with a great sword or two-handed. You have to have a shield. Protection also requires you to have a shield. You can impose disadvantage when someone is attacking you 5 feet. Shield there. A throwing weapon. Anything that you can, when you hit a creature with a ranged weapon attack roll using a weapon that has thrown property, you gain a +2. So your javelins, your spears, things like that. Maybe you're throwing a two-weapon fighting. This is when you can have a melee weapon and another weapon using the light property. So it's like a light crossbow, maybe a hammer. That's when you can actually do a second attack with two-weapon fighting. But it is, of course, the light one. So it's not going to. We go to unarmed fighting, this is when you use your unarmed strikes. You can be a fighter that does unarmed strikes, of course, but fighters has more versatility, whereas a monk would do more damage with their unarmed fighting. But as I said, being if this is your first character, we gotta go for defensive. We want our AC high. We get second wind. It's our second ability, which gives us the ability to heal ourselves 1d10. That's your fighter level. We can use this twice. We regain 1 slot on a short rest, and you regain all slots on a long rest. So basically, you can use 1 slot. You get 2. If you use 1, you regain 1 on a long rest. But if you use both of them, you can't regain 1 on a you use a long rest. There's a bit of debate about this, but most DMs will rule if you've used 2, you have to take a long rest. You can't take a short rest. Then we have, of course, our weapons mastery. These are weapons that you choose. Being a fighter, I always try to pick a melee weapon, a ranged weapon, and maybe a light weapon so you can carry it out. So With being a fighter, you'll see there's a lot of little things we can do over here. Remember that great swords, great clubs, those are two-handed weapons. So even a halberd is a two-handed weapon. We don't really want a two-handed weapon because we are a defensive fighter. There's a laser pistol, of course, but yeah, that's if your game has it. So what I will pick over here, first let's go for our ranged weapon. I'm going to have a look. I think we can pick our short sword. Pick our short sword. A normal short sword, you get Vex with it. Get a load. When you hit a creature with a short sword, you deal damage. You have advantage on it. You get a short sword. Then, of course, let's take maybe our light crossbow. Slow. Yeah, I think a light crossbow. Great. Slow. When you hit a creature with a light crossbow and you deal damage, you can reduce their speed by 10. It's also fine. And then, we can have a little bit of a fun weapon. I think we might have uh where was it? I saw it over here. The light hammer. Yeah, light hammer. There we go. Just a light hammer, Nick. So you do an extra attack. So, I tend to pick melee, ranged, and a light weapon. It's up to you which ones you want to pick, but you also want to make sure they are connected to fighting. Um, Then we have our action surge, which means you get an additional action except a magic action. So you can get a action being as it is a melee action if you want, but not a magic action. So a weapon action, but you can't cast an addition. So they changed that from the last rules, and you get this. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until a short or long rest. So once you rest, action, action surge back. Get your tactical mind, which means you can, if you fail an ability check, you can use one of your second wins to add a d10 to it. You expel that slot. But if you fail that ability check, you still get your second win back. It doesn't use the second win slot if you fail it. That's it. If the check still fails, this use of second win isn't expanded. Good. But if you pass it, then you have used it. So it's just another way of keeping track of those second wins. Then we look at your subclass. This is what you specialize in as a fighter. So there are several ones you can pick from. The more books you buy, the more add-ons you get, the partnered content, you can actually get quite a quite a lot of these fighter subclass. They are the most versatile class. Um, but for this one, we're just gonna pick champion because it's usually the one that's the free one on D&D Beyond, and champions, like almost every D&D group would need a champion in fighter. It's very simple to use. Um, why I say that is because when we pick champion, we get improved critical. So when you roll a crit D&D Beyond on a 20, a 19 or a 20, when your attacks with weapons and unarmed strike for a critical hit on a 19 or a, so yeah, that's if you roll a 19, they're considered natural 20s. So it's really good to get improved critical. And then you get this thing called Remarkable Athlete, which means you had advantage on initiative rolls and strength attack. In addition, immediately after you score a critical hit, which comes into play with improved critical, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunities, which is great because we are making a human fighter, which means their movement speed is 30. Very few monsters in D&D have a range of 15 feet to attack. So when you hit that critical, you can move away from it, provoke attack of up. Adding on to our defensive fighter. There we go. So we've done all the things that we need to do. These are all little things that we need to do. Now we're going to go scroll back our background. Now, there's quite a few backgrounds, but you always want to get the background that complements your class. So for example, if we have a look here, you wouldn't want to have a criminal past being a fighter. I mean, maybe you would, but it wouldn't really add anything to it. If we click on criminal, we can see we get our skill proficiencies are stealth and sleight of hand, something we wouldn't really use as a fighter. Even when you look at acolyte, you know, we would get insight and religion, not really something we would use. So as a fighter, we have several we can pick: guard, farmer, soldier, even sailor would work, but we're going to pick just a normal soldier. It's the most basic one, but it works well with a fighter. We get the proficiency of intimidation, always good. And then we get to pick another skill. Now, being a fighter, I think perception we would really help us out. So we'll pick perception checks. Perception, they happen quite a lot in D&D, so it's always good to be a bit proficient in perception. We get to have tools. I'm just going to give this fighter maybe a set of playing cards. Very simple. And then you get Savage Attacker. So when you pick your background, you get an additional feat of Savage Attacker. When you uh, so it says once per turn, when you hit a target with a weapon, you can roll the weapon's damage twice using either roll against. So you get to choose which one's the highest. So that's the Savage Attacker. The ability scores we're going to leave for now because we're going to go back to abilities before we have a look at that. And then we have a look at the character details. You choose your alignment, lifestyle, etc. For this fighter, I would choose neutral good. I wouldn't recommend for new players. I do not recommend playing chaotically evil or any chaotic character if you're a new player. This is intermediate to advanced, especially chaotically evil. That's very advanced. Very few players will ever play chaotically. Um, but for our fighter, we just, we're gonna be neutral good. He's not bound by the laws, but he's still a good guy. Lifestyle, this is how much money he gets. We'll just give him 1 gold coin for now. Now, depending on your DM, they might give you 1 gold coin per long rest, something like that. Some do, some don't. If you want to maintain your job, yeah, it's just, it's just a bit of a lifestyle there. Also, your cost of living, so your upkeep for your life would be. Then have a look at the physical characteristics. And these are all things you can type in depending on your fighter. Give you a large option over here. Personal characteristics, also large option. And any notes that you want to add in. How much backstory do you want to give your fighter? Right? All these things you can add in. So as I said, we're not going to worry about ability skills just yet. We're going to go to our species. We want to tick off legacy content, unless your DM allows it, but we're going to use the 2024 rules. So we're going to tick off legacy content. We're going to make sure our sources are the core rules and handbook, nothing else. And that gives us a selection of races, species to select. But as I said, we're going to pick human because human, fighter, right? Easy, versatile. See all the little things that humans get. One thing is they get heroic inspiration after a long rest. 8 hours is a long rest. So you could, for every long rest, you get a free reroll. Click on there. All right, good. Now we can break it down once again. Size, medium. Well, it's just a normal average human. You can see he's got skills of 30 feet, resourceful, that's his hero operation, skillful, very cool. So what are we going to choose for skills? Well, being a human, we get to choose, maybe being a soldier, he has had a bit of survival. If we pick perception, where it's in brackets said soldier, what's going to happen is that it's going to take away that what we picked when we picked our background of soldier, and we're going to have to repick something else. So you don't want to pick perception again. We're going to go survival. Third thing. Versatile. Now we get to pick an additional feat because humans get to pick an additional feat. So what would we choose? Well, there are many feats you can choose in this one, and you can all give, if you want, you can go through, read them all. But being a fighter, we wouldn't really want to give him anything to do with magic. This gives them cleric spells, druid spells, wizard spells. Musician is more for bards. You could say skilled, but it's more for an intelligent base, maybe tavern brawler. But I would recommend for newer players, tough, because it gives you more health. Your HP maximum increases by an additional 2 points. So then we come all the way down here to our languages. Now, everyone can speak common. It's the most common language. We can all speak common. But you can roll, and this is where, enable dice rolling will come in handy. So we're going to roll a d12 just to see, and push it on the button. Let's roll a d12 on D&D Beyond. Is it going to pop up? All right, so it came up at 2. So we're going to speak Draconic. Going to roll another d12. Roll it over here. 8. Okay, Gnomish. Interesting. So Draconic and Gnomish. Maybe that has to do something with your background, but really cool. Okay, now that is what you can do, but you can also pick them. You don't have to roll for them. You can pick them if. So now we've done everything there for our species and background. Now we go to abilities, right? So there are 3 standard ways of giving your ability score. But your standard array, your manual, rolled, and by. Standard array, come down here, we can see 8 to 15, right? So if you pick 8 for strength, which is what we wanted to get, you can modifiers +2, you can see it comes all down here. But what does this mean, modifier +2? For every even number your total score is, your modifier increases by 1. So, and it starts it out really early on, but you only start to see the benefits after 10. So, after, if we go to Constitution and we just say Constitution 10, you can see the modifier is 0 there. But if we have our Dexterity at 12, there it's already +1. So it goes, before 10, it becomes a minus modifier. After 10, it becomes a plus modifier. So that's what we have to keep in mind. Remember, every even number. You can see how we have picked them. So if I picked 15 for strength here, I can't pick 15 for strength on dexterity. It won't allow me to. Got to balance out. This is why they call it a standard array, because you got to balance out the points and make sure something is always on the low end and something is always on the high end. You get your strength and you get your weakness. When we look at points to buy, this is a bit more even when I say this, because it is, you get 27 points and you can divide them up any way you want. You can add them over here. They actually tell you how to put them, where to put them here. So for example, if I want my strength to be a 15, I'm minusing 9 from my points, and there you go. But if I want to keep everything at 10, let's say I want everything at 10, right? And I put this 10, 10, 10, even down the block, right? Now I've only got 15 to play with. Now again, you've got to divide it up again and see where it would work the best. Maybe being a fighter, again, you want your strength and dexterity. But now you've got no minuses on your ability because you've made everything even. Easy, right? But the one that everyone kind of goes for sometimes is manual and bold. Most DMs will tell you, okay, 3 groups of manual and rolled, and you choose the highest group. But how do we do this on D&D Beyond? Well, we have a group 1. You just click again, add group, and you can delete a group if you want. You can see confirm, delete the group, but you can add it back there. Okay, so we've got our 3 groups. And what is manual and rolled? Well, we roll 4 d6s and you take away the lowest one, or you keep the highest 3. That's what it means, right? So we're just going to roll over here. Go roll off to the side there. Our first one is 9, 11, 6, 10, 15, and 10. Okay, so the first group didn't roll super high. We've got some extremes there, but I'm not sure I want to use that one. Let me roll the second group and see where it's going to be at. 16. Okay, good. 9. 13. Okay, we're getting a more even number. 12. Again. Yes. 15. Okay, good. All right, 7. Again, we've got a lot of high ones and 2 low ones. Okay, that's fine. Go to our third group. 14. 11. 13. 10. Okay. 17. And 16. Okay, so it looks like our third group, to be honest, they're all pretty even. Like they would make good characters in each one. So let's just take our last group over there. No, let's take the middle one. The middle one looks a bit more fun because we've got 2 low ones. So the middle one, we're gonna pick this, and we say, okay, I'm gonna choose this group over here. That means we can't take numbers from that group or that group. We've chosen the middle group, right? You can decide on your DM and talk to them and decide which group would be the best. But I know for a fighter, I want my strength high, I want my dexterity high, and I want my constitution high, which is great. Then I can fiddle on, maybe my charisma. I'm not that charismatic at the fighter. I don't need it. Charisma 7. Uh, let's make me more intelligent, but less wise. There we go. And we can add them to our ability scores. There they are, right? Very cool. Strength, we determine how hard we hit. Dexterity is your armor class and how you move. Constitution is your health. Intelligence are your skills. Wisdom is understanding things. And charisma is how well you can do others. Charismatic. But as a fighter, we don't need. And you can actually see them down here in your score calculations. It does it all for you. It's pretty fun. There you can see dexterity, strength 16 plus 3 on the modifier, dexterity 15 plus 2 because it's not the even number, constitution 13, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So charisma is definitely my weakest stat, which is okay, but we're going to see how we can improve that. And how can we change it up? Well, remember when we went to our backgrounds, come back to our backgrounds and we go ability scores, we get to pick strength, dexterity, or constitution because of our soldier background. Now we can increase them all by 1 or increase 2 and then by 1. But let's have a look if we want to increase them all by 1 first. Let's see what it does, right? So everything is increased by 1. Go back to our ability and we say, okay, we come scroll down. My dexterity is now 16. My constitution is now 14 and my strength is 17. This is good. I think this is a better option here because having these two uneven numbers gives me a good chance to survive. And the strength at 17, this is also good. That means I'll only need one more way of increasing that. Maybe a feat or maybe an item later will give me an extra modifier to help me out there. But that's all we can do there. Okay, so that's the ability scores. Now we go to equipment. This is where you add your starting equipment. Now, if you want to add your starting equipment, they give you 3 options. I wouldn't recommend going for the gold, the last one, because it is more for advanced players. And again, it's a lot of micromanagement. You got to look at gold things of prices, this and that. And it's a more for advanced games. These are the standard options. Starting equipment is pretty standard. It would be something that your character would have as a soldier of some kind, right? So we know we can't use a great sword. So let's go for the second option, E, because there's a short sword, a longbow, 20 arrows, etc. So we're going to click on that one. And they give you the soldier starting equipment also, which gives us our short bow. Our gaming set, healer's kit, quiver. So let's go for that there. And they say, if we click on this one, it says an additional option. Let's see over here. Let's give him some dice. Let's give him some dice. And then what you want to do is you want to just click add starting equipment and it will add them. Now, here's where you can do this two different ways, right? My easy way to do this when you're just starting out is just to scroll down and you'll see wield, right? Because some people forget that you've got to equip the weapon also, which, it doesn't automatically equip it. We've got to wield it. You just click, I'm wielding it now. Wielding. There you've got that was my longbow. I'm actually going to unequip my longbow because I want to equip my short sword. There we go. And my studded leather armor. That means I put it on. Is everything else I have there, right? So now that we have everything, let's go to what's next. Well, we can view our character sheet, see what it does. And we could load it now. And there we go. There's our character sheet, right? So we can actually see where all of these things come into play. Now we've got our short sword equipped. You can already see it's there. In our inventory, we can click down here. We've got two sets of arrows, which is great. We can also have our longbow and our short bow. Remember, we can use melee weapons and simple weapons. Now, if you want to have a look at why we equip studded leather armor, if we take it off, our AC drops to 13 because studded leather armor gives us AC bonus. It gives us an AC bonus, a armor class bonus. So we equip it and our AC goes up by 3, which is 16. Good. Now we have all of our things over here. Strength 3, dexterity 3, on 2, intelligence 1, wisdom -1, charisma -2, which makes a very interesting character. You can see how the are all represented on our skill tree. We have advantage on strength because of being a soldier, fighter, um, champion. Advantage on initiative there. And these are our saving throws. So our weakest saving throw is going to be our wisdom and our charisma, but our highest is going to be our strength and our constitution, even our dex high. Passive perception of 11, passive investigation of 11, and passive insight of 9. Now we can also see additional senses. Now we don't have any additional senses over here just yet. That's for our dark vision, and if we picked blind fighter, we would have had a blind sight there. This is what we can use. Tell us our weapons, our tools, our languages. Now, if we want to roll, we just have to click on this, and it rolls it for us. And that's that's a 15, which is a 20 plus 5, so very good. And then we'll do our damage, which is only 5 damage. So get to roll there. But here's all the little things that you would need when you are playing D&D Beyond. They put them all on the one sheet, but if you get a bit confused and you can't find anything, you can just click on the tabs over here. Your attack, there it is. Actions, there they are. They tell you everything there. Even your bonus actions, yeah. And your reactions, you don't have any yet. Other, so they'll keep tactical mind and action surge mainly in other. And the limited use, again, second wind, action surge. Your inventory, you can actually break it up into equipment, your backpack, your quiver for your arrows. You get 2 quivers, yeah. Your attunement for if you have a weapon that requires attunement, usually it's a short rest, and other possessions. Features and traits will all be here. If you ever want to double check something, remember, we all kind of learn this game together. So there are going to be times where you get confused. I still get confused. It's okay. Class features, special traits, and then feats, and then of course, background, add background. soldier add one. Yeah, that's how you make a standard fighter in D&D Beyond. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell. I will be making other videos just to show you how to do different characters in D&D Beyond. I might change the race every now and then just to make it a bit more interesting, but the important thing is, have fun when you're creating a character. You're playing the game to enjoy the game and to make it. So until then, have a great day, and I will see you